All right, welcome to the MMA. I actually forgot I haven't introduced myself to any of these episodes yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the MMA Science Show. I'm Dr. Paul Gavoni, a.k.a. Paulie Gloves. We're here with Dave Zitnick, former MMA fighter, professional, world-class coach. Also with Anthony Ciampa, that two-time Tony, heavyweight champion amateur in one of our local shows here. And we're very fortunate enough to be here with professional MMA fighter James Hayes. Welcome, brother.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you here, man.
Absolutely glad to have him. First one of the day. I was going to start off a little shot for us. He just finished the fight, getting ready. He's got time.
Lord, man. What's in that? I don't want any of that. I'm too old for that, man.
What was it?
That was Jameson whiskey.
You took it like a man, brother.
That was
Or a woman, whoever. I'm not biased on this, man. Whatever.
Like a champ.
Yeah, like a champ.
like a champ.
Like a
That's
champ.
it, yeah.
Maybe we should have had proper 12.
Nah,
Maybe you would have done
nah,
better
you don't
with
wanna take it.
Manischewitz, but it looked funny on my table.
A what? What the fuck is that?
Bro, he's the only one that understands.
I
what
get it,
I'm saying.
Manischewitz, man. Come on.
There's a Goodfellas reference, bro. We're in the studio here with a Goodfellas picture. Nobody knows the Goodfellas references.
Hey, well,
That's some old shit, man.
we need the Don back here, man.
That's some old shit. Stop it.
We
bro.
need the Don.
Don.
So listen, man. We'd like to hear, for the fans out there, and tell us a little bit about your history and how you got into MMA.
It was I honestly just got into it like close?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just got into it after high school. I just started training.
Were you wrestling in high school or anything? Or
No,
okay.
I played football after high school. Then I just started training like at a Muay Thai gym, and then I ended up going to BTT with Dave, Mike, all of them. And then I took a couple fights, and it just left off from there. Took off from there. It really was simple. I didn't really.
Did you compete in BJJ or anything? Was there any competition? You went right into MMA.
Even to this day, I still haven't competed in like a BJJ tournament, Pan Am's, none of that.
I love the new generation, man. Pure MMA.
Yeah, well, I agree. I don't think it's necessary. Now there's so much amateur MMA out there, and there's gyms that are teaching mixed martial arts from start to finish. Not very many of them, but there are some, like the Combat Club, that are teaching mixed martial arts from the beginning to the end. And then you go into amateur MMA. There's no reason for the other stuff.
What made you want to fight though? What pulled you towards it?
Honestly, just my coach. He just asked me one day. He was like, "Yo, do you want to take a fight?" It was up like 2 weeks' notice at Renegades. Took it. Choked the guy from Palm Beach Boxing on like second round. I was like, "Oh fuck this! I'm doing this," and just stuck with it.
Yeah, I was there for that fight. I remember that one. That was at Renegades with UFFC with Brian Wachusik.
Yeah. Watusi or whatever.
Was I there for that?
Yeah, we were there. Because Christian was fighting that night too.
Okay.
Black Dragon.
All right. Yeah, it seemed familiar.
Yeah, that was unfortunate what happened on that guy too recently. He got suspended for like 2 years or something
for forging
his eye things.
Really? Christian did?
He had a vision test that was, I had never even heard of it. He was like 20 and 400. They said he was legally blind in one of his eyes, and they wouldn't let him fight in Titan. They canceled the fight at the night of the weigh-ins, and they told him, I don't know how you've ever fought before,
Wow. It's news to us.
Yeah, we didn't even know that, and we trained with him.
Yeah.
Well,
I hadn't seen him for a while, and I
man's
saw him down there
one
when we were
eye.
talking. And the doctor, the doctor was like, "Hey, man, there's no way." And I told him, I'll go over there and talk to him. I mean, you've obviously been licensed in the state of Florida before. Like, what? Why now? Apparently, not.
There's a lot of dirt that goes on back there,
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Munson's out of the game now, so I can bring the secret out. But he was blind in one eye for a long time.
Wasn't
Bisping.
Michael Bisping? No
Yeah.
eye. Don't he? He has.
He's
one
got a
thick eye?
prosthetic just because his eye is so bad that he just keeps it there so it doesn't look so screwed up.
But can he see?
No.
Yeah. So
That's
let my man's fight, man.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Let him fight until he gets blasted on that side where he has no vision and he's injured with an injury that lasts a lifetime, maybe a traumatic brain injury that lasts a lifetime, and then it's really that's not great.
I mean, but he can't see already.
Doesn't he have like more than 10 fights as an amateur?
Oh yeah. And like I said, obviously his vision's not that bad. You see some of the girls he tries to go after.
I'm not worried about his vision. Vision, you can live with one eye or whatever. But, some of the injury that happens to your brain, necessarily cause a lot more problems than just having the vision of one eye.
Yeah, I worry about it.
I wouldn't
man.
want to see that.
Yeah, I won't want to see that either. Man. I want the fighters. We got to protect the fighters from themselves. These guys got big hearts, but
we see what happened with Nick Newell, and I believe he was born with the deformity of his arm. He actually trained with Jornell a bunch of times. Great guy, tough as fuck.
Wasn't he the champion at World Series of Fighting?
I believe he might have been a champion.
Yeah.
Certainly deserves.
I think Justin Gaethje took that from him.
Certain deserves to be in the ring, but then you get a fight like Justin Gaethje, where.
Yeah.
I mean, that was brutal. And not that Gaethje hasn't beaten other guys up brutally. He has. But you got to start to wonder, does that deformity give him a disadvantage when it comes to a fight like that? I've heard people argue it the other way. He rear naked chokes guys, and they're saying that there's no hands to fight and that he has an advantage, or if he gets a heel hook or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is to that. But with this guy, and he's somebody that I know personally, I would hate to see him end up injured, because of his eye and just because he's too tough for his own good.
Yeah.
He needs to have people around him to say.
Hold on, but don't we
Maybe it's
all
not the
sign
best
waivers
thing.
though? If we
Sometimes you got to
ring?
protect yourself from yourself.
or your coach has got to protect you from yourself. A lot of tough guys out there.
Yeah,
with
but
big
there's some.
hearts.
So in terms of it, and I don't know this exactly, but the doctors, when they are checking you out and they're doing that physical and they're signing off on your eyes and your body and your heart and all that stuff, and in some states, in the state of Florida, we don't do CAT scan, but like in New York, they do that. I believe they pulled out Rashad Evans from a fight up there because of some abnormality they found. If they see something that they consider defective, I guess, for lack of a better term, that could affect your health in the fight, the doctor is going to say, you can't do it because you're essentially fighting under his permission,
Right.
kind of, in one way. He's signing off saying, hey, this guy's healthy enough to go in there and compete. And
Yeah, they have their own code of ethics that they have to follow, man.
absolutely, that's a good point. They have a code of ethics that they say they're going to do the right thing. So as a doctor who sees a guy who's legally blind in one eye, the doctor has probably never fought anybody, doesn't know anything about it. But what he does know is that this guy's at a major disadvantage, and that disadvantage could cause, some real permanent injury, and that's not great.
Wow.
So tell us a little bit about your game plan. So we heard about how you got into the fight game. What are you doing up to this point? Like, how many fights have you had, and what's next for you?
5 fights. I just fought July 2nd on Titan. Took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. Gets a tough guy. Lost decision. Trained at Sanford MMA. We got a game plan about trying to get 2 more fights this year, maybe 3. They offered me a fight August 6th back on it. Of course, 2 weeks' notice. No opponent, but whatever.
Back on Titan?
Yeah, back on Titan. But then I guess the car got filled with a bunch of the goat shed motherfuckers. Nah, yeah, man. They be handpicking them motherfucking fights, man. I swear. So now I got pushed back like September, October. Hopefully two fights by the end of the year, and get back on the winning streak, man. Training at Sanford with Greg Jones, Henri Hooft. So I talked to those guys. We're going to try to get back on LFA, Titan, CSE, CES? CSE?
Yeah. The one up north.
Whatever the
CES is the one up in the Northeast.
Yeah, whatever.
It don't matter where it is as long as you got to
bro.
fight.
Just trying to get back on the card somewhere, somehow, and just continue.
So you mentioned getting back on the winning streak there. So I'm assuming you lost your last fight. What the great fighters do, and I'm sure that you're doing this right now, is that they learn more from their loss. What do you think that you learned from this last fight that you lost?
Be less hesitant, just trusting your abilities, and be instinctive. Man, I was way better than that guy striking, but I just got in there and was hesitant, and it just wasn't myself that night. It's kind of like you losing in a basketball game. You have 2 nights from that night. You play the basketball game again, but when you're a fighter, you have 2-3 months. You sit on that loss, and that shit's a bad taste, big ass pill to swallow, and it sucks, man. But
well, so if we boil it down, I'm a behavior scientist, right? So I'm like, okay, we work all this time, we prepare for the fight. It's very hard to recreate those conditions in a fight, you know what I mean? Because there's the stress, the anxiety that comes along with all the people around. So I'm like, all right, we want to get back into camp and figure out precisely where it went wrong for the fighter, when it went wrong for me, for you, and then what we need to do in camp. Are there any adjustments that you guys, or maybe you're not there yet? I don't know how long ago did you fight? I can still see like your eye hasn't felt.
No. Actually, no. This happened in training. Fucking,
okay.
I got headbutted and got split Thursday sparring.
Okay,
but this shit happened in the fight, man. I was pretty as a whistle after the fights. No, swear to God.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so you didn't get hardly touched, right? Okay.
Yeah. But no, exactly. We know what to do. My head coach Dave Zitnik, and we've been working on it. So no, we know exactly what went wrong, and we're fixing it.
Okay. All right. So there are. In your day-to-day work, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this now so I can produce that outcome later. That's what's important.
100%.
So this is something that we've talked about a lot in the past, and it kind of falls into that realm of performance anxiety, and
which is very normal. Very normal. Yeah.
Happens all the time. And I think it was coming from something directly related to training. The best thing that he was able to do is identify where that performance anxiety was coming from. We saw it. We tested it after the fact.
And it was there.
And he was right. It was
Smart.
right. It
Smart,
happened.
man. Smart.
It happened. So not only did he recognize it in the fight, he knew what it was, and then we went after that. We tested. He was correct, and now we know where to fill in that gap.
That's MMA science right there, guys, you know. Hypothesizing it, testing out, and, you know, now building the intervention.
What's crazy to me about that is I consider myself a meathead. I don't know, man. I'm just like a guy that I'll work and I'll fight and I'll do whatever, you know, but we're doing all these things. We were doing all these things for so many years, and then the doctor goes out and gets the PhD, and then we realize, like, all the shit that we were doing, there's actually
names for it.
A real thing, you know. There's there's people with fucking degrees in how to make that better. So now I've tried to learn and make it better so that we could do just what we did with this guy. And I think for the next fight, that's not going to be the same.
I saw you. I don't know. You know, Dave does such a good job about posting footage. I saw you guys sparring the other day. It was beautiful. That long range, man.
He was
and
piecing
the shift
Dave up.
Into the and the shift right into the smoothly into southpaw, right in that transition, man. Man, it was lovely. You look good, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think he gave an extra cauliflower to Dave's ear because he was boxing him up.
He does.
But you were doing the right thing. You were coming forward, moving your head, trying to get under, but you were just staying long, man. You know what I mean? Just out of his reach. It was beautiful.
Listen, man, working with these guys is like, it's bittersweet, you know, because you have to accept the fact they're getting better and I'm getting worse, you know, and as time goes by, that's just the way it goes. That's okay. I don't give a shit, man. I'm not competing. I'm just there to give them a look, and I know what they need, and I like to do it from that first-person perspective sometimes. You know, I do like to sit back and watch them, but I like to see it right in front of me a lot. So I'll give them what I think they need to the detriment of myself sometimes, but that's okay because I want to see these guys succeed.
He likes feeling young, you know.
He looks it, man. He looks pretty damn good.
I do, man. It was great. When I go out there and I train these guys, I feel great. I hope they feel great. What I would rather is I feel good, and then I go throughout my day, they got better.
Yeah.
And go throughout
I know when
their
I get
day.
caught now with something, I'm like, that hurt, but I'm proud. You know, like that kind of thing.
And if they weren't getting better, I mean, listen, I'm 41. I haven't fought in years. I try to stay active. If these guys aren't beating me, who are they beating? They're going to beat the other. They're going to beat the other 25-year-old prospects out there? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So that's where it becomes bittersweet. I want them to knock me out, choke me out, or knock me down, or whatever. I want to feel beat up because I know they're getting that much better. Because, you know, whatever, 6, 7, 8 years ago when I met this guy, that wasn't happening, and now it is. So that's great.
I've actually only got knocked down one time training ever.
What got you?
I think it was fucking switch overhand.
Oh, yeah.
No.
If anybody's Dave's the only person that's ever sat me down in training at Rogers. He got me with an overhand in the corner.
I've ever got sat down.
I'm proud of that overhand.
I'm
Hey,
proud of that
like-
overhand.
2 years in training.
Yeah.
So you said you're training at Sanford now, and I know they're pretty new on the scene, but they have such high-level guys coming out of there with Gilbert Burns and Micheal Chandler. How does it feel training under such a new tutelage?
Feels great, man. I came from ATT, so the whole fucking roster is like UFC. So when you go to Sanford, it's a handful of UFC guys, a lot of Bellator, a lot of 1FC, but a lot of regional like gorillas like LFA, Titan, CES, Midwest guys, wrestlers. So it's a lot of like young no-namers, but we just get nitty-gritty. And then we got Henri Hooft, Greg Jones, Kami, some fucking legend coaches.
Tell Kami I said hello, man. I always
I
like
got
that
you,
guy,
I got
man.
you.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I want to say Kami Barzini is probably one of the most underrated coaches in all of MMA, and you barely ever hear his name. And he likes it that way, I think,
Hey, friends,
based on
follow
his
us.
personality. He doesn't want to be known, but that guy produces champions.
He's
man.
a general, brother. He's a general. He's out there masterminding, you know.
Behind the scenes, too.
Yeah.
He is a sick coach, and I've told all these guys that I've sent to gyms where he's been trainers, I said, work hard enough to where Kami comes over and gives you advice, or he coaches you, or he says something to you after. If that guy says a fucking word to you, if he gives you one piece of advice, man, you're doing the right thing. And I don't think anybody knows who he is.
A lot of people don't, but he has been in the game a long
I
time.
think Henri Hooft gets a lot of the credit down there at Sanford, or even Greg Jones. I hear a lot, and I think Kami's in the background, and he's okay with it. But when I get a chance, I say his name.
Props, Kami. I agree, man. He's a real dude. We were talking earlier about what motivates fighters, right? And there's different kind of types of fighters. Some are very cerebral in their approach, and your name got brought up saying that you were kind of like a passion fighter, you know? Is that, you know, how would you describe yourself? Like, what motivates you? What fuels you? And, you know, how do you approach training, and how do you approach the actual fight?
Yeah, I'm definitely passionate. You know, before and during, it's fuck the other side, fuck the ops. But I just want to be great, you know. And that comes with everything, you know. It comes with the naysayers. It comes with when you lose, you fall short. A bunch of people tell you, I told you so. A bunch of fake friends, fake people. It just comes with a lot, but I made a couple promises to some people, and I just want to make it to the next level, you know. So
You're gonna, man.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. You got one of the things is surrounding yourself with the right people, you know, and that's what it seems like, you know, you've done. And the passion, what we were saying was that, which is opposite of Dronell's approach. is that passion, it can, if you fuel it, you channel it right, it can really work for you. Some people can't. It throws them off their game, But channeling, and the example that I had brought was like Vinny Pazienza. Do you know who Vinny Pazienza was? He was a great boxer,
No.
Yeah, great boxer. But he was very passion driven, and it actually took him, I think, beyond where his skill level. And he was a champion, but it took him because he started fighting up in different weight classes. So it can be really good to channel that, passion.
I just wanted to keep this independent from everything else. You're talking about Jornel Lugo, who is the number 8 ranked bantamweight in Bellator, who also happens to be one of James' real good friends. And we just finished up a podcast with him that you can find as well. One thing I do talk about with these guys a lot in terms of, like you saying, hey, have you ever heard of Vinny Pazienza? And he says no. I think of it as a failure of myself, because I want these guys to know the history of combat sports and the history of MMA. So I'm going to bring up a story that he told me one time, because everybody here knows Dean Thomas. So we're hanging out one day after we're training, talking shit, and you know how that goes. Like, you learn more in the locker rooms warming up for a fight or after training when everybody's sitting around than like any other time. So he makes some kind of a comment about Dean Thomas. And I said, well, I don't remember specifically what the comment was, but he made a comment and I go, well, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What do you mean? Why did you say that? And he goes, bro, Dean Thomas is Tyrone Woodley's boy. And I go, Tyrone Woodley's boy? The fuck it? No, man. Dean Thomas is a fucking pioneer of MMA. One of the best fighters. ATT MMA is built on this guy's back, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? No, man. Like, that's not okay. You can't say that shit in here. Like, that guy was one of the first and biggest influences I've ever had. And one of the first, best, real MMA fighters, where he was just mixing everything up.
He was the first fighter from ATT to make it to the UFC.
Was he?
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you. I really have no idea, but I'm going to agree with you, and I would believe that to be correct. And then he goes on and has all these great fights, and what a good guy, how much he gave back, how many times he was in every little gym all around South Florida, giving back knowledge and all this stuff. I told him, I said, man, you need to go home, YouTube, Google, whatever the fuck it is you guys are doing these days, put in Dean Thomas and figure that shit the fuck out. And when you come back, I'm going to ask you about Dean Thomas versus BJ Penn or Cal Uno or one of these guys, and I want to hear that you watched the fucking fight, So Vinny Pazienza, that's the next guy on the list.
Yeah, but I don't know too many boxers. I don't watch boxing.
That's okay. All right, well, we'll pick out another MMA guy.
Yeah, he gets a pass on that one, man.
There is a fucking movie about Vinny Pazienza, though.
It's a good movie, man.
I mean,
it's a great
I
movie.
know.
I know you've seen it. What's it called?
Bleed for this?
Bleed for This. And that movie's fucking
He
great.
broke his neck, brother, and came back and fought after a broken neck.
Yeah.
I know.
And you know what you could relate to Vinny Pazienza is that he was a fucking animal in the ring, but he was an animal in life. He would be out partying. Girls. Fucking guy was a nut job. Gambling, bro. It was fucking great, man. That guy was a typical fighter, The perfect fighter life.
He,
I don't know if it's the perfect fighter life. Whatever. All right, perfect's not the word.
it's a perfect story. It's a textbook story.
You're right. It makes a great movie.
Yeah.
He's what a lot of fighters are.
Yes, sometimes.
I mean, look, you get to John Jones.
I don't know, man. I think the fighters are evolving. Back in the day, I would have a bunch of guys sleeping on my couch. You know how it is, man. No money and same thing, partying. But I think as the MMA world has evolved, people are tightening up. You know what I mean? They see it as this is a career, path, and I got to behave as a professional, not only in the cage but out of the cage as well.
But I don't think there's nothing wrong with working 2-3 times training a day 5-6 days a week and then having a day to let loose and go
Not at
party.
all.
Oh,
Not
that's
at
wrong.
all. You got to do that. There's
That's-
everything right about that.
Right. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what you need to do. What we're saying is more, and if you watch this movie, you'll understand a little bit more. Or even like Mike Tyson or John Jones is a good example.
They were going
of
to
modern
extremes,
day,
man, yeah.
John Jones is a good example of modern day MMA,
Yeah.
where he's been open about the week before these huge fights. He's out partying, drinking, girls, doing coke, doing all this crazy shit, having this wild lifestyle. That's the personality that makes him who he is, and it's fucking wild. But I agree with you in that is changing somewhat. I saw it recently from my own mind. If Brandon Moreno just won, is he 125 pounds against Figueiredo?
Flyweight, yeah. He finished Figueiredo.
So he finishes Figueiredo. He wins the title. And if you see, he's on his off days. He's got his
Lego
glasses
collection or
on.
some shit.
Yep.
He's got a fucking Lego collection. He looks like the biggest fucking nerd to walk the planet.
Yep.
And that guy will kick the shit out of you.
I mean, even that guy that just fought Sugar Sean O'Malley on 2 weeks' notice, he won that $75,000 bonus. He went out and bought an ice cream sandwich for his first thing. You know what I mean? So it's like he didn't go out partying, and then you want to bring up Lego collections. You know who has a great Lego collection? Brad Pickett.
Yeah,
Right.
but that guy got hit like 280 sometimes.
It
Oh,
didn't
that
go
was
down.
crazy.
I know he had the fucking biggest concussion. He probably wasn't going to go out. No, fuck.
I've never seen anybody take a beating like that. Have you seen a guy take a beating the way that guy took a
He
beating?
took over 200 significant strikes.
80 was like 80%.
Yeah,
I agree.
Punch
What
landed.
what I didn't necessarily like was the stoppage.
37 seconds left.
After
Dudes, you do
all
BB
of that, if you were going to stop the fight,
second round.
stop it in the second round. I agree. Or even stop it super early in the third round. Just give the kid a chance to go back out. But 20, 30 seconds left in the fight,
Let him go out on shield.
let him finish.
Yep.
That kid was a warrior, man.
He deserves the next shot.
And for that matter, I know everybody's big on Sean O'Malley, and that was a great fight. He did great. But that guy being very tough, he wasn't necessarily had the skill set to be where he was.
And I think he fights 125 too.
Normally.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
So he was
That's a big one.
He was lighter, smaller. You could see it in the ring. He was much smaller. And I don't know that he had the skills to be in the UFC. And I thought that Sean O'Malley should have finished the fight a little more with a little more of a stamp.
What weight do you fight at, James?
155,
And how tall are you?
5'11".
It's amazing. And
76
you
inches.
look like 76-inch reach. That's beautiful, man. That is like, I think the average.
And he got long legs.
Yeah, the average champion has like I think it's a 2.5 reach advantage, and your reach advantage on average, or your reach on average, is your height. So if you're 5'11", your reach on average would be
I think 6'2".
you would be 7. Yeah, so you would have a 71-inch reach. Your reach, if it's 5 inches more, would be like a reach of a 6'3" fighter because you're 4 inches. Yeah, that's incredible, man. And what's more incredible, because I see what you're doing with him, is that you're leveraging it. Because a lot of guys are fighting and their hands are straight up in the air or whatever, but you're really relaxing and keeping people at distance. So a guy like you can have real longevity in the sport because you're not.
I don't get hit.
Right. That's the name of the game, brother. That is the name of the game, man. You guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
He's doing a great job. What I want him to do a little more of is stay in a range where maybe the danger level is a little bit higher, but he can land more. 'Cause I don't want him to land 1 or 2. I want him to build as the fight goes on, and I want him to land 3 and 4. And I want him to work from a shorter range sometimes because guys are closing distance on him. Not necessarily because he wants to, but they want to. And I want to see a little more volume, some knees, some
Micro
elbows, you know?
Yeah, so if you, I'm guessing, yeah, you're working on distance management. It's like everything in the fight game, and being able to pick those spots to do it. Now he's got to be comfortable to do it. So you got to set up conditions. This is going to have to happen in sparring, where you're like, all right, recognizing that moment when to do it, because a lot of guys got to get in there and get the range and feel comfortable. and then they work into it. You know what I mean? Not come right out and do that thing. You know, and looking at, do you have like any exemplar fighters, like any models you're like, I like the way that guy fights, you know? Because if you look at, like, say, John Jones is a champion. He does not throw high volume. You know what I mean? He doesn't throw a lot of strikes at all, but he's like a sniper, and he's accurate, and he throws at the right time. That doesn't mean he couldn't be better, because he does pick his spots. And he gets in that mid-range, and all of a sudden he's throwing elbows and knees and doing all those things, you know what I mean? Once he establishes his distance, and I think probably his safety in there, you know? That's just my guess.
I agree. The only argument I would make was maybe like early John Jones. Early John Jones went after it a lot more than today's John Jones does. So I want him to copy early John Jones. And then when he gets to that next level, he can copy today's John Jones.
Yeah, it's good to have a model for it to look at, because those moments, because that is like, every style has its strengths and weaknesses, and one of the weaknesses of countering can be that if you're not firing off enough. You know what I mean? If you're not looking for those, because you do got to pick those spots where you're getting in there and like, all right, you drew just enough, make a miss, and now instead of just pop one,
100%.
pop, yeah, that's the deal, man.
And that's where we're at, where he'll make this perfect distance. And some of the sparring that you were mentioning that I posted on our social media, some of it I didn't, but I send him the clips. And I go, look at this spot right here where, I mean, like, you would have fucking killed me. I'm looking at it going, oh, my God, thank God he didn't know what to do right there or didn't pull the trigger. And I send it to him, and I go, here's the spot where you did everything right. Go.
I make angles, but I don't fire back.
Here's a simple way to fix that, maybe. Try it out. Is that only allow him to throw the jab, right, or maybe long kicks or whatever, but the only way he's allowed to throw anything besides the jab is if he throws it in a combination. So now he's looking for that. It's putting him under conditions where it's forcing him to get that combination off, right? So it's rewarding him, So otherwise you can't throw it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we do this. And with the guys that were just here, they were saying that made a difference, because recently somebody in one of the training sessions had made a comment about we were wrestling hard. I believe it was Jornell. We were wrestling real hard. We were doing like some fence work and takedowns and get-ups. And he said, imagine if you had to fight after that. It like click, boom. I was like, what the fuck? I go, no, man, what are you talking about? You do have to fight after that. What the fuck are you saying? That's absolutely it might not have happened to you yet, but that's going to happen. So I immediately, next round, we were like, we're going to do the same thing. We're doing short rounds, positional rounds. But as soon as it was done, you had 45 seconds of stand-up.
Good.
We had the small gloves on. It was just technical sparring, not trying to beat anybody up. Keep the volume high. Look for something good.
He says that, but even with small gloves, he goes hard.
Who does?
I know. I know how you are, brother. I know how you are. We all know how you are.
One speed.
So
Stop, bro. Stop it. I have video of this guy destroying me. He'd kneed me in my chest one time.
with the knee pad.
You're probably coming after him, man. Let that be a lesson to you.
Fuck him. I'm going to beat his ass. Everybody that comes to the gym, I say, fuck that shit. I'm going to beat your ass.
We'll be like, are we going 40% today? Okay, yeah. And here,
You
and
all
here.
know, yeah,
But
yeah.
in the first round here, we're at like 80%. Well, okay.
I do remember you being that way, brother.
I ain't like that. I go to the level of my opponents.
Yeah, okay.
That's
But you bring it up a little bit,
textbook
and then
answer.
they bring it to you, and you're like, no, you bring it to a little bit above them.
I throw a stiff jab. He's like, oh.
No, yeah, it wasn't no 40% jab. It wasn't a 40% jab. It was a stiff.
It was a stiff jab. He
just
coming
let
in,
it.
so we just-
he let it go. Oh, it was a stiff jab. That was an 80% jab, not a 40%.
Well, you just walked into it. That's all. He
That's
doesn't
it.
have that.
yeah, all right. That's
It
what
was
he
all
tells
that
me.
aggression you were bringing.
That's what he tells me. It's because you're moving forward. That's why I felt so hard. Yeah, fuck that, dude.
So, James, we're talking about training. We're talking about what you do in the gym. What do you do when you're not in the gym? Like, how do you relax?
Oh, smoke a blunt, lay in bed, and play Fortnite or watch Netflix.
You be playing Fortnite?
Yeah, I play like once or twice a day.
A lot of fighters do that, man. You know what I mean? That, between fights,
Yeah,
especially.
yeah,
Are you
I
in a
guess.
position now where are you 100% just training for fighting, or do you also
Yeah,
have a day
100%.
job?
100%.
That's great, man. That's one of those benchmarks you just talked about making, you know?
I mean,
It
I
is.
mean, I don't get it paid 40, 50,000 like UFC fighters, but
No, but I know it's tough.
Well,
You're like
listen,
sucking it up.
something
Yeah.
just to, I'm going to brag for him a little bit, but he does some day trading, and we talk about it.
I do
Man.
stocks. Yeah.
You on that Forex?
No. So I do
and the
crypto
guy
and
makes
then
money.
and stocks.
That's excellent, man.
And the guy makes money. He does a good job. I've talked to him about it.
I can't
and
retire
he's
yet,
doing his
but-
research. It's not retirement money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's getting him by, and that's great, and that's something for the future.
After fighting, that's the goal. Take what I made from fighting and invest it.
That's beautiful, man.
I'm gonna definitely need some tips after this podcast. We'll talk because I got a couple
I
apps.
got you, brother.
Fantastic. So, what are your plans for the future, man? Like, so you're looking at Titan. Do you have like, where do you want to go from Titan?
Honestly, I don't care if it's Titan, CES, LFA, anywhere. I'm just trying to get fights. Bellator, UFC, whatever comes first. I actually got offered Bellator a couple months ago, but it was one of those 4 or 5 days notice. I text Dave about against what's that one guy that did like the 11-second heel hook. He has like the fastest submission in Bellator history. It was like on a 5 days notice. He's like a heel hook.
It was against, I forget the guy's name, but he's a very
Israeli
good,
guy.
awkward Israeli
Submission,
grappler. It was just not the type of fight that you take on a
Quick
5
notes,
days
yeah.
notice.
They're bringing him in as
with
opponent.
100%.
Yeah.
All respect to the guy. He's a great fighter, and he ended up having a good showing that night. I believe he won that night. I think he won by submission that night.
He's a cross sniffer.
It's
It's not a fight you take on 5 days' notice.
But
Right.
it wasn't
So-
even that. It was more of they bring you in to lose, obviously, whatever. And if you win, okay, cool, you won. Here's your check, leave. It's not like you did us a favor, quid pro quo. We'll do you a favor, and we'll sign you to a 2-3 fight contract.
Smart.
Like UFC, like they'll bring you on a 4-day notice. If you lose, we'll still sign you, give you opportunity to fight in your weight class because he was at 170. Because I couldn't have made 155 on 4 days. I could have, but it'd have been.
What do you walk away around at?
Like 174, 173.
Okay.
Not too big.
Yeah.
Like 18, 19 pounds up. I'm very disciplined, unlike Jornell. Eat pizzas and shit.
Well, we had a whole debate about it.
I eat every 2 hours. Ground turkey, rice. I weigh my food out.
You got the perfect shape for a fighter, man. You're built like a fighter that can have longevity.
Thank you, but I feel like I can still put a little more muscle and be a little more leaner.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, like your structure is built again, long ranging, man. Those are the fighters that have that like a long
that's a
career.
gift from God. So
Yeah,
that's why
leverage
I'm
it, but it's a gift from God. But then having coaches that know how to leverage it, that's
100%.
yeah, man. Because
He does have them John Jones legs, though. You got to get with Daru.
Let me kick you with it.
I think you have, bro, at Gardens when we trained together.
Yeah, that was years ago, man. Let me do it now.
Years ago.
he's another guy that eventually, yes, that obviously I'm biased to Phil a little bit just because I know him for a long time. There's a lot of great strength and conditioning guys out there. There's some right here in Palm Beach County that he could benefit from greatly. So that's the next step for him, where we get him in something like that.
I do lift though.
But he does. No. I'm saying it like he's not like he doesn't have a strength and conditioning program. He does, but it's just a very generalized program.
He doesn't
that
like when I go to CrossFit.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Not only do I not like, I hate it.
CrossFit's for girls and Instagram models.
It fucking drives me nuts.
But
Now-
I think some of the workouts like you deadlifts to box jumps, those correlate to being athletic and explosive as a fighter. That's
if he likes CrossFit, is there something that you can say? All right, if you're going to go there, just do these things and don't do these other things.
No, there's not, because they have
They have certain WODs.
they have like a certain workout that you're doing for that day. So your options are limited to
They don't have
what-
like a fighter thing. They'd be smart to do like a fighter regiment. I don't know.
nah, they don't.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be
but they're
smart
not
for them.
that smart though. The majority of them, like there's a handful of them out there that are
We're
probably.
going to get flack for this one.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm trying to help you all out.
Flag the fuck out of me. I don't know what shit. I mean, this is a long time problem in debate with CrossFit gyms or gyms in general, you know? This is the CrossFit gym to me is the equivalent of like the certified MIT coach. You know what I mean?
But
Like-
at the end of the day, it's still high interval training.
It is, but just
What don't you like about it?
Just
Can
like
you-
mixed martial arts, strength and conditioning and periodization, trying to build yourself up so you're at a peak for a fight is way different than what's happening in CrossFit.
That's very true.
CrossFit would be what you term GPP. That's general physical preparation. So for soccer moms, a cop, a fireman, a whoever that just wants to stay in shape and like, you know, be generally above the average, that's okay, you know? But for an athlete who wants to really focus on building a mountain to peak at the time of his fight. And
That's true. But I know how to scale it back and do what workouts that day or on the certain day to peak my physique or peak my conditioning.
Right off the bat, see, I don't give a shit about your physique. Physique. This is
I do though.
This is an argument that happens with athletes all the time. Now, we got the perfect example right here.
Peak physical specimen.
No, bro. What, dude? You fought that one dude who was fucking jacked and ripped, and it became like an internet. It was like a viral thing. It was like a meme almost.
Yep.
Like, look at this big ass jacked dude, and this fat guy is gonna fight him, and this is fucking bullshit.
Oh, wasn't you like 6'8"?
And then
That was one of them. The guy he's talking about, the guy was 6'4" and built like Adonis.
it was ridiculous, man.
And I
And
still
he
whooped his ass.
He goes
But
out there and
that's
knocks the
6-ounce
guy.
gloves, 5-ounce gloves.
He goes out and knocks the guy out. All I care about is performance. That's it. All I want him to do is win. I don't give a fuck what he looks like. You know, chicks like what guys look like, but you know what chicks like even more?
Winners.
Winners. Fuck yeah. Fucking winners. And he could have a six-pack and all this nice shit and be a loser, and nobody's going to give a shit about him.
That's true.
As a fighter, at least. He's a great guy. But as a fighter, nobody's going to fucking care. So if you have a six-pack and you have nice biceps and you get your ass kicked every night, nobody's going to give a fuck. I don't want you to do that.
But I think the body and the physique comes from
Performance training as a secondary thing will give you the physique that you want. Training for performance will give you the physique that you want.
no. I feel like 80% is what you eat, or at least 70.
I think diet is a huge part of it. Absolutely.
Not according to Jornell.
We
Hey,
just
if
we just left a horrible fucking nutrition seminar.
If
But other than that, you're right. But that's not what we're talking about. Diet is aside. I'm talking about the actual training. And the other thing that goes on in CrossFit is some of the actual exercises that are being done
Dangerous.
are dangerous for a fighter who really needs to focus on their health. And I don't think those people, and maybe they are. I don't want to say those people. Are you allowed to say those people? Is that like
CrossFit, man.
somebody going to cancel me for that?
I don't. Could be.
Those people.
Them
And they.
like binary.
CrossFit.
I'm not. Just go ahead, man.
CrossFit people, I don't think they realize what the extent of the rest of his week looks like. So
Well, they're not specific to the needs of a fighter.
yes, and you need that when you're getting to this guy's level. You need that. we can't have this GPP going on.
Well, and they don't claim to be that either. You know what I mean? What you want him to do is something different.
They don't
for him.
claim
Yeah.
to be. They don't claim to be training fighters, even though they have a workout called Fight Gone Bad,
Yeah.
which they will sell to you as, you know, whatever nonsense they're doing.
But it's
not
general.
that.
It's not fight-centric.
Listen,
You want-
man,
yeah.
I was a coach out of CrossFit for a long time, and we made a super positive difference in a lot of people's lives for a lot of great things, and I continue to see them doing great things, and that's awesome. That's really cool. It's just not. He's at the next level.
Can he do a little bit of it? Because if it seems like he loves it, right? And so if he loves it, can he do, like, instead of doing it 6 days a week or 5 days a week or 4 days?
No, I do like 2 or 3 days a week.
Okay, so maybe if he did it, how many days of strength and conditioning do you want him to have?
I would like to see 2 to 3 days.
Can he fade then? Maybe instead of, all right, hey, let's make a deal, you know what I mean, and go one to that's very performance specific, you know, and then he gets a taste of that, and then he sees himself performing better as a result, and he's like, you know what, let me just go do more of this. I'm just thinking behaviorally about it, you know.
What I would rather see is, and I think sometimes it becomes a timing issue, a scheduling issue, and it becomes a money thing. So I would rather see him break his schedule or pay a little bit more for technically less, rather than say, you know, don't say what it costs to go to your CrossFit.
Too fucking
Well-
much.
You're a pro athlete. They should be sponsoring you.
For real. Hey, y'all need to sponsor me.
I agree.
Whatever it costs to go to your CrossFit, and you can go 3-4 times a week. Excuse me. I would say, let's find one of these. Sanford has great strength and conditioning coaches. I mean, I'm saying Daru, obviously because of our history with him, doesn't have to be him. He's great. There's other great guys. Sanford has a built-in awesome strength and conditioning program
They
that
do.
knows exactly what they're doing.
Is it that
So-
you're just used to doing the CrossFit, or why not go over there? Is it a cost thing, or
No. At Sanford, it's all built in. So we have a strength and conditioning coach. We have coaches, fight team, doctors on call, recovery rooms, ice baths, fucking
Sounds great.
chambers. We have everything there. It's great, but it's just Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe, at 4 is the strength and conditioning. By then, you know, Sanford's all the way in Hillsboro. I live in West Palm, Jupiter. I train clients sometimes. I do stocks. So it's just a timing thing, because by the time training is over at 11:30, I have to sit around basically till 4 or come back just to come back. It's just
Well, that's an important thing, but
lot of
today's
travel.
point, yeah, a lot of travel. Maybe there's somebody else that, because travel's important, you know. I mean, that's your lifestyle and everything, you know. But maybe there's somebody else.
I would just have to sit around basically in the area until 4. I
Yeah,
think 4 to
that'd be
5,
miserable.
5:30 is the strength and conditioning with Sanford. But by then, you know, I have clients. I just have to make money.
You got to find someone that's more local, if you can, you know. Do you know anybody, Dave? I mean, there's got to be somebody.
CrossFit.
A part of this is him being happy, so I'm glad he's happy with doing that. And I'm not saying anything bad about CrossFit.
I mean, he's felt
All
my
you
strength. I'm
CrossFit
pretty
people-
strong. He's felt my double legs.
Have you ever gotten a takedown on me?
I think I have a couple of videos, but I've held you against the wall. I'm pretty strong, you know.
A lot of time on that crotch sniffing, huh?
Nah,
Hey, I only posted a little bit of that sparring video, but since he's talking shit,
I mean, you might have to do a release.
hold on. I just want to ask him a question. Who shot first?
Okay, Connor.
I think I did. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Keep it
yeah, I
100.
think you
Keep it
did too.
100. No, but I do that. I do that specifically because Okay, so here's the thing. So the reason why I shoot in training to get myself more tired, because I can strike all day
Yeah.
and not get tired.
That's smart.
But then when you get in a fight, you know, whether if you shoot or the guy shoots, that's still grappling, or you building up lactic acid in your muscles. So he's not gonna shoot because he rather just stand and bang. You know, he likes losing brain cells. I'm a handsome guy. You know, I don't like getting hit. So I'm gonna shoot just to get him more tired because
I already forgot where we are right now, bro. I don't suggest you doing that at all.
We're at CrossFit, Dave.
Fuck, I gotta get out of here.
So I like to I'll shoot or just hang on you or make you hang on me just to feel that fight. I don't know how, like, I don't know what
That's
the
your
word
fight
is.
gone
a
bad
setup.
approach.
Yeah, it's a setup. Well, listen, I'm glad I hear that. You know, he has some
Like a fight
thought behind
simulation
it.
feeling
Yeah.
of like the muscles.
Good.
He's putting himself in an uncomfortable position to get that work. That's
Sure.
good.
But see, he doesn't know I'm thinking about that. The like in the moment we're sparring. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. And see, and you just thought, what?
He didn't have to just shoot and shoot. Nah, man.
There's purpose
I'm
behind
not
it.
tired because
Yeah.
he gets tired quicker than
Just
we
shoot.
do. So I do that so I get the playing
I
field
do get
even.
tired. He's right. I do get tired. Hey, one thing I did want to bring up while we got James in front of us is so here in South Florida, James's dad is like a notorious street fighter, notorious guy for being a tough guy. Shit, that guy, I don't know how long I've known you for.
Like 10 years, 10.
Going on 10 years. Guy fucking never said a word to me. Only like one time at one fight he came up to me. He goes, "Coach, what's up, man? Hey, how's James looking?" We started talking and I was like, holy shit, man, what the fuck? It took 8 fucking years for this guy to say a word to me. But we got Tommy in here too, who also grew up with him as a notorious guy in the Jupiter area, this guy. So the question has been asked to me, does James Hayes Jr. beat James Hayes Sr. in a fight in his prime?
You're the,
He ain't going to say shit about James Hayes Sr. because James Hayes Sr. might come looking for him.
Is that a rhetorical question?
No, I want to know the answer.
If my dad was 25.
Your dad's a big-ass dude.
Yeah.
By the way,
in high
James
school,
Hayes
he was
Sr.
like-
is what?
he was like
James Hayes
6'2", 225 in high school. Yeah.
He's a big dude.
That's a
Yeah.
big dude, yeah.
No, he's a big dude.
Now he's like 6'3", I think like 280.
you just
He
got to
has a-
take him down.
He has a gut. No. In
He
his
has
prime,
a guy.
a little bit.
He's a
little bit
big
of gut.
dude.
In his prime, I would beat the living shit out of him and make him
Damn.
buy me pizza every day in high school. And that's no joke.
All right,
Street-
There it is.
I'm good with that.
Street fighters to legit MMA fighters is. Come on, man.
Yeah, Dave, I think you were
Dave,
just
you
talking
just
about
talked
that.
about
the
that,
whole-
brother.
Yeah.
You knew what was going
You
to happen, man.
contradicted yourself.
Come on.
I just wanted to hear him
That's
say
straight Dave coming
I
out
just
of
wanted to
you.
hear-
Oh, I tell him and his homeboys all the time. I was like, bro, if we went to high school, I'll make y'all buy me pizza. Like, the smallest person in their group, I think, is like 6 foot 230.
Yeah.
awesome, man.
I've seen these guys. They travel in a pack and they
Dave's
ain't
playing devil's
fucking
advocate.
they ain't fucking small, man. They don't
No,
look
they're
like
not.
it would be an easy night in the parking lot, but
I got to beat your
You know?
dad, man. Sounds cool. I like him. I don't know him. I like him.
It's cool.
And that is why I believe in the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
fight
Dude,
in
you're
the
right.
streets.
If I saw that group walking up to me, I'd be like, fuck this, man. Everybody's getting shot, bro. This ain't happening.
Concealed
Because-
weapons permit. In the street, I train Smith & Wesson.
No, bro, dude. There's a lot of big dudes that got a look on their face like they're going to fuck you up. He didn't fucking say a word to me for 8 years, man. I saw that
no.
guy 100 fucking times. And he would walk right by me. I'd be like, hey, all right, maybe next time. Like, fucking, what is it? Like, what do I got to do to earn this guy's respect, man? I'm like, you better fucking win, bro. Or this guy, I'm going to lose in the parking lot to your fucking dad, bro. You're going to lose, and then your dad's going to fuck me up, man. Like, we got to get this shit together, bro.
All right. Dude, it's been great having you on here, brother.
Appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
man. Do you have any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Nah, no sponsors yet, man. But like I said, CrossFit. Some
Y'all
food.
need to sponsor him,
Y'all,
man.
y'all
This
better,
guy.
man. But see, when they want to sponsor me, it's going to be too late. I'm going to tell y'all, fuck off, pay me, fuck out my face.
So jump on the bandwagon now.
Better, man. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
Give me some modeling or something, man. Shit.
And where can people find you at, brother?
What, IG or my number? Which one?
Yeah.
I don't whatever.
Put whatever you want.
I'd be careful about putting your number out
Yeah,
there.
no.
Whatever you want.
Nah, you can find me on IG, James Hay, or just team_legacy 561.
We'll post the links to that.
No, I don't know. No Twitter. You can hit me up on Snapchat. Only cute girls though. No, I'm just fucking around. No.
So when do you expect on getting back in the
Or
cage?
cute boys. You know, we're open.
Nah, we won't do that. We won't do that over here. I'm not a homophobe, you know, because I don't need the LGBT community hopping on my motherfucking page. But y'all give me the exposure. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But,
It's all love, man. It's all love.
but no, hopefully September, October 1st, get back on Titan or anywhere, you know, before then or after. I want at least 2 more by the end of the year. Fuck somebody up and finish the year strong.
There we go.
Y'all keep a lookout for James.
All right. And again, to Life Quest Sciences for letting us use the studio, and we'll put a post up or a link to their stuff. Tommy Glover, Life Quest Sciences.
He's helped me a lot,
Check
man.
them out.
Tommy's helped me a lot.
A lot. Big time.
This shit was fun, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Real
Thanks,
good
brother.
time. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
All
you guys.